What if there was a man who didn't just survive life's chaos but mastered it so completely that every challenge, every setback, and every uncertainty became fuel for his ascent? Imagine a mind so finely tuned to the patterns of human nature and the hidden currents of thought that it could bend reality itself, not through force or luck, but through unshakable psychological mastery. This is not a fairy tale or myth, but the story of the man who solved life, not by discovering some secret formula or external power, but by cracking the code within himself. He uncovered the invisible architecture of the mind and learned to navigate its labyrinth with ruthless precision. What would it mean to live without fear, without doubt, without hesitation? To wield the power to shape not just your fate but the very meaning of existence? This man's journey is a roadmap for anyone daring enough to look beyond the surface of reality and master the deepest enigma of all, life itself. To say someone has solved life is to claim mastery over the most elusive and complex puzzle that ever existed, human existence itself. Life is not merely a sequence of events or a series of random occurrences, it is a psychological labyrinth where every choice, every emotion, and every thought weaves a tapestry of meaning or chaos. The man who solved life is not a man who found all the answers, but one who understood the fundamental nature of the game, the patterns beneath the noise, the unspoken rules that govern human behavior, and the power of mindset over circumstance. This understanding is a silent revolution within, a mastery of self that radiates outward to shape reality with terrifying precision. At the core of his solution lies a radical psychological insight: life's apparent chaos is a dance of perception. Reality, as experienced, is filtered through the lens of belief, emotion, and desire. The man who solved life recognizes that objective truth is secondary to subjective interpretation. The way one perceives an event defines its impact far more than the event itself. This revelation turns the traditional quest for external solutions upside down. Instead of trying to change the world, the master changes his mind, bending his perception until he controls how life unfolds around him. By mastering his internal narrative, he becomes immune to despair, rejection, or fear, because he controls the meaning he assigns to each experience. This mastery is psychological sovereignty, the profound ability to govern one's thoughts, feelings, and reactions without being enslaved by them. Most people are captives of their emotions, ruled by impulses, fears, and fleeting desires. The man who solved life stands apart, observing his mental states like a commander surveying a battlefield. He cultivates emotional discipline, the power to delay gratification, resist social pressure, and maintain equanimity in chaos. Such control is not repression but the highest form of freedom, choosing responses rather than reacting reflexively. This autonomy is the foundation of his invincibility in the face of life's relentless unpredictability. Understanding the psychology of motivation and human drives further sets him apart. Life's struggles are often framed as external conflicts, but the true battles rage within the psyche. The man who solved life knows how to harness these internal forces: ambition, fear, love, anger, not as threats but as energies to be directed. He aligns his desires with a vision so compelling that obstacles become mere tests of will rather than insurmountable barriers. This psychological alchemy transforms pain into power, loss into lessons, and failure into stepping stones, revealing life not as a curse but as an arena for growth and mastery. Social psychology also reveals its secrets to him. Humans are deeply influenced by the perceptions, judgments, and expectations of others. The man who solved life navigates this complex web with tactical finesse, understanding that social reality is constructed as much by appearances as by facts. He crafts his identity deliberately, projecting confidence, mystery, and authority in ways that influence how others treat him. This mastery of social perception becomes a powerful tool. He commands respect, inspires loyalty, and disarms opposition before a word is spoken. In this way, he solves not only the internal puzzle but the external game of human interaction. The man who solved life embraces paradoxes instead of seeking simplistic answers. He understands that certainty is an illusion and that flexibility is strength. Rather than clinging rigidly to dogmas or fixed plans, he adapts like water, flowing around obstacles and exploiting openings with effortless grace. This psychological flexibility makes him resilient, unpredictable, and unbreakable. He is both the storm and the calm, the hunter and the observer, mastering the dance of life through awareness and strategic action. Ultimately, the man who solved life is not a mythical figure but a psychological ideal, a representation of what is possible when one chooses to understand and master the deepest layers of human existence. He embodies the convergence of self-awareness, emotional intelligence, strategic thinking, and social acumen. His solution is not an endpoint but a continuous process of learning, adapting, and growing, a journey inward that transforms the chaos of life into a coherent, powerful symphony. The man who solved life is also a master of solitude, understanding that true insight often emerges not from the noise of society but from the quiet depths of reflection. In solitude, he confronts his own shadows, the fears, doubts, and contradictions that most people evade. Rather than fleeing discomfort, he embraces it, knowing that growth arises from facing the uncomfortable truths within. This psychological bravery is rare. It requires dismantling illusions and confronting the raw core of one's being. In this process, he integrates his fragmented self, becoming whole rather than divided. Solitude is not loneliness but a crucible for transformation, the silent forge where mastery is tempered. Another key to his mastery is an intimate familiarity with the mechanisms of the unconscious mind. Much of human behavior operates beneath conscious awareness. Habits, biases, and fears shape decisions without deliberate thought. The man who solved life cultivates the skill of observing these unconscious patterns, recognizing when he is influenced by hidden forces and learning to intervene before they dictate his actions. This meta-awareness is a powerful form of psychological freedom, breaking the chains of automatic reactions and allowing intentional, strategic responses. By mapping his own mind as a complex terrain, he navigates life with a compass of clarity. The concept of meaning plays a pivotal role in his psychological architecture. Life, to many, is a series of random events, leaving them adrift in existential confusion. The man who solved life creates his own meaning, crafting a personal mythology that imbues each moment with significance. This meaning is not naive optimism but a profound commitment to purpose that transcends circumstance. Psychological research shows that humans need meaning as much as food or safety. Without it, despair follows. By anchoring himself in a self-fashioned purpose, he cultivates resilience, motivation, and joy even amid adversity. This act of meaning-making is a form of self-sovereignty, a declaration of authority over one's inner world. In social contexts, he demonstrates psychological dexterity by balancing authenticity with strategic impression management. He understands that people respond to a combination of truth and performance. Raw honesty can be disarming but also dangerous. Careful presentation builds trust and influence. He navigates this tension by revealing just enough of himself to build connection while maintaining mystery and control. This calibrated authenticity fosters deep bonds without sacrificing power. It is a dance of revealing and concealing, a psychological tightrope walk mastered only by those who understand the game. The man who solved life also embraces failure and uncertainty as integral to mastery rather than threats to be avoided. Psychologically, many are paralyzed by fear of failure or the unknown, but he reframes these as opportunities for learning and growth. This mindset shift is a cornerstone of psychological resilience and adaptability. By welcoming challenges as necessary crucibles, he transforms obstacles into fuel. The uncertainty of life becomes a playground for creativity and strategy, not a source of anxiety. This attitude stems from deep self-trust and confidence, qualities that radiate outward and attract success. A final, profound psychological secret he holds is the acceptance of impermanence. Everything in life, status, relationships, possessions, even the self, is transient. Most fear this impermanence, clinging to illusions of permanence that inevitably shatter. The man who solved life understands that freedom comes from embracing change, flowing with life cycles rather than resisting them. This acceptance fosters a profound peace and clarity, freeing him from attachments that blind others. Psychologically, it is the ultimate release from suffering and the doorway to true mastery. In essence, the man who solved life is not someone who controls every external factor but one who commands the most complex domain of all, his own mind. His power lies in psychological sovereignty, emotional mastery, strategic thinking, and social finesse. By solving life inwardly, he transforms his entire reality, becoming both architect and ruler of his existence. This is the timeless wisdom that transcends eras and cultures, a testament to the enduring power of the human psyche when harnessed with insight and intention.